homeless problem. So that's America.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll be going live very soon.
If you can hear me, we are live.
Did his screen freeze?
I think he's frozen, but then we are live. Oh my god.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. We will be right with you briefly. I am the guest for today. My name is Dr. Monica Sekhmet Grant, and I will be talking about conscious business ethics today and how you can do good and make a lot of money. You don't have to be corrupt. You don't have to stab nobody in the back to make money for your business. And so while we're getting the technical difficulties figured out, just letting you know a little bit about myself. When we first started, he was asking me how America is. And I'm like, it's terrible, as always, as a lot of our countries are. They're corrupt. In America, we have a homeless problem. We're dealing with climate change as everyone else is. We have a gun violence issue. And so everybody's country, is probably going through something very similar, particularly when you are a person of color, a Black person, melanated person, Nubian person, original person, indigenous person. We tend to live in these countries where we have to fight for what is right. And so, yes, we are here. We are here. We are here. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. How
You're
are
back?
you too?
Perfect.
Yes, I'm ready.
Perfect. I was just talking to your audience, getting them ready for our conversation.
That's fine. So hello, welcome, good evening, and welcome to the Startup Dialogue on Enterprise Bureau platforms. Wherever you find yourself, wherever you are, we wish you all the best. Having Dr. Monica Grant, who is a social entrepreneur and a media personality as well. She's been in community service for more than decades. She's having all the experiences you can talk of when it comes to community service. Tonight, we are coming to discuss issues in community service. We are coming to look at the benefits of community service. We are coming to look at the impacts of community service. We are coming to look at the effects of the ongoing global challenges on community service. First of all, Dr. Monica, good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. And how about you?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. Can't ask for any more. Thank God.
Nice one. So to begin with, tell us what community service is about. I mean, when one says community service, you are offering a community service. What is it? I mean, just give us a snapshot of what exactly community service is about.
For sure. But I'm going to put a twist to this community service. It's any kind of service that you give to your community, to the people in your life, to your locality, right? But I don't want people to think that I'm not speaking about making money. I love money. I like making money. And what I'm here to talk to you today about is how to make money by also doing good and making a social impact for your community, for your state, your country, for the world. I am not a believer that you have to be a poor, righteous teacher. Jesus was a rich man, yes. All of our great leaders were rich, wealthy men. And they gave and they gave and they gave. And so in order to give, you're giving from a place of wealth. And so I just want to be clear on that. I'm not telling you to go work your day job and then give some crumbs. I'm saying you can make a lot of money doing good, because right now in this world, people are tired of the corrupt governments. They're tired of being cheated. They're tired of people only the rich getting some and everybody else getting the leftovers. People are tired of that. And so there is a market for conscious business, social entrepreneurship. There are people that are making multi-million-dollar businesses by cleaning water, working on the climate
Yes.
change issue. So there's a lot of money in doing the right thing. So I just want to put a twist on that right now, because I'm not telling you to go out there and give your all and not receive anything in exchange. What I'm saying is there's an opportunity to have a win-win-win-win-win opportunity for everyone in your life, including yourself and your profit margin.
But one may ask, what do you earn from this? I mean, yes, you are saying you like money and all that, but sometimes you do it as a philanthropist. So at the end of the day, what do you get? What do you get from all this? And what's the end game in doing it?
The end game is always to have a better world, right? I want to make sure that my nieces and my cousins and my family have a better world to live in. But if I develop affordable housing, I'm going to make money off of that, right? But I'm also going to
Yes.
help and make sure that there's no homeless people on my block. So real estate, you're like going into real estate, you can have a philanthropic attitude about it. I want to help people. I want to make sure that there's enough housing for people out here. I want to make sure that there's enough jobs out here. That is a philanthropic attitude. So what do I get out of it? I get my cut, I get my exchange, but I'm also thinking down the line. And what has been the past is that we have only thought of the now, the now, the now. I'm going to cut this other person off. I'm not going to give this person anything, and I'm going to get the now. And a lot of rich people, if you have noticed, have died of cancer, heart attack, because they're not living right. They're not living healthy. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, we are moving into a more divine feminine economy, where it's a circular economy, where it's not just about I take, and I give you nothing, but it's about let's share. Let's share and create abundance together. So what we're getting is we're actually getting more. When you give to me and I give to you, we actually create more. In the Bible, it says when two or more are gathered, God is in the midst, right? So
Yes.
when we try to do it by ourselves, it's just us struggling. If we finally make it on our own, it's lonely at the top. It don't have to be lonely at the top. It don't have to be lonely at all. So what you're getting is a more fulfilled life. And how many rich people that we know that can't go outside? They don't trust nobody. They got to have 1 million bodyguards. That's not sexy to me. Like, I don't care how much money I got. I still want to go to the grocery store and pick my fruit and get what I want. There's no money that can make me want to give that up. Right. And so I think the philosophy of what is wealth, what is a truly fulfilled life. If you're walking around angry at people because they didn't work as hard as me, that's whack. That's whack. So what do I get out of giving? I get a better life. I get a better life than most people. And I get money off of it. Like, this is still a business model. The conscious business model, excuse me one second, I gotta let these people in. But a conscious business model, I'm an entrepreneur. Hold on one second.
Okay, viewers, so we are still live on the
this is live. This is live. The conscious business model is a legitimate model. In some countries, they call it a circular economy. In other countries, you might hear it as being like a recycle center. So say like if you're able to repair cell phones and then resell them, right? You're able to utilize what's already been there and then still make a profit from it. So there's a lot of things that different countries call it. But what are we getting? You're getting money, but you're also getting a lot of other things that I think entrepreneurs haven't really discussed, prior to this time.
Okay, but one may ask. I mean, you're talking about sharing and caring and all that. But in the current environment where we find ourselves, like, is it that's normal for this sharing and caring kind of movement or rotation in what or where we find ourselves?
I think it comes from the heart. I think it's always good to share. I mean, like, what's right and what's wrong. And that it doesn't feel right to have to live where you can't trust people, right? And so I think every country, every community is a little different, where we feel like we can't trust people. We can't, we can't deal with certain people, but also like we're in the virtual space. So like if you feel like you can't be in your community to do service or to be completely fulfilled and to give your expression of love, get in the virtual world, find your own community. But yeah, I do believe that this can happen everywhere because innately we are all good people. I do believe that. Innately, even like murderers got somebody that they love and they want to care for and they want to share for. So like that energy is naturally within us. And so if you could tap into that energy every single day and create a business model around how you give, how you support. So for example, my company, Young Boss Media, I am a media personality. But for me, the most important thing is not about me being in front of the camera. And as you can tell, I ain't got no problem with the camera. I ain't got no problem talking. I ain't got no problem being here, right? This is just what I do. I can do this in my sleep. But the most important thing for me and my company is to be able to help other people that are not as comfortable as I am. To help people that need that encouragement, to help people that never thought I'd one day have a TV show in New York City, to help those people be uplifted and to be able to advocate for their community utilizing media. This media piece is easy for me. And so what I know is I'm able to give from my heart. I'm able to give from my spirit to other people in that capacity. And then what do I get in exchange? I get to help people really, really fulfill their lives, you know, and to really see themselves in a whole new light, develop self-confidence. There ain't nothing like helping somebody put a smile on their face and be able to have their parents say they're proud of them, you know. And then what do I get out of that? Listen, clients come to me and saying, hey, I want you to do what you're doing for Young Boss Media for my company. That's how I've got an opportunity to run so many international organizations, because people see what I'm doing right here and they want the same thing, but they can't quite say what it is. And I'm telling you right here what it is. It's like, I love on my people. I love on my people. I give unselfishly. You know, there's nothing that you can take from me. There's times I leave my door unlocked. There is nothing that you can take from me. You can't like my spirit belongs to me. There's nothing that you can take from me. If you want it, take it. If you walk in my house, all you're gonna get is some books. You can get this painting, like everything that belongs to me. Like if like you can have it. I don't hold on to the spirit of I have to keep. Like we're here to share. We're here to give. We're here to love. Like we're here to build community. And the truth is that this next generation of entrepreneurs, and I mean, we can get into the data of it. It's not just my philosophy. You can say Monica crazy. We're talking about data. There is data saying that millennials and Gen Z, they are going to spend billions of dollars on conscious brands. Brands that give back to their community, brands that give back to villages. So if you look at Tom's, if you look at Tom's Shoes, if you look at Jason's deodorant, there's a lot of brands that put on their labels 10% of our profits will go to this village in Kenya. You know, and if I'm in the store and I'm looking at, and I'm very picky about where I spend my money. I'm very picky. Like I'm the type of person, I can go into a grocery store and if something don't fit me right, I could be starving and I'll walk out. I won't spend a dime. I'm very picky about how I spend my money. And so if I see on the shelf a product that says they want to give 10% of their profits to an unfortunate or a needy community, I will spend with them, even if that brand costs more. And so the research shows that there are millions of people like me spending billions of dollars with conscious brands. So that's what I'm saying. Like there is so much money in this industry of conscious business entrepreneurship. And I will share my presentation. All right, so I have a lot of slides, so I'm gonna kind of speed through it a little bit. But good causes, goodwill, good money. And so I put the money up there because I want y'all to know, like, I'm not just talking about volunteer service. Okay, this is brought to you by the Rotary Club of Social Entrepreneurs. You can go to rotaryforentrepreneurs.org. We actually have a learning platform called the Social Entrepreneur Toolbox that you can check out by going to rotaryforentrepreneurs.org. It's brought to you by the Interfaith Trade Assembly. It's an organization that brings together conscious entrepreneurs. It's a faith-based organization. And one of our services is the Conscious Advantage, where you can learn how to be a conscious entrepreneur. All right, who am I? I am Dr. Monica Sekhmet Grant. I run some companies. I have a doctorate of philosophy specializing in conscious business ethics, and I authored a few books. My last one is called Mind Your Business and Prosper. Good causes. Okay, so there's so many reasons why we need to focus on this world, right? About 92% of the world lives in extreme poverty, less than $2 a day. Climate change is putting us, oh my goodness. One second. I don't know who that is. Let me decline. Climate change is putting human health at risk, particularly in vulnerable communities. And when I say vulnerable, I'm talking about Black folks all around the world. Dark, melanated people, indigenous people are people. If you're watching this, you will probably understand who I'm talking about. Over 800 million people go hungry every night. 785 million people lack access to clean water. There are just so many reasons why we need to focus on this planet. This planet is not just going to give us infinite abundance without us actually protecting Mother Earth. And Mother Earth, the whole climate change conversation is funny because Mother Earth is good. Mother Earth will take care of herself, even if it means eliminating us. So what we want to do is make sure that Mother Earth says, all right, I'll let you stay. I got you. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a bargain with Mother Earth. Okay, so there is a new demand for good businesses, right? So I was speaking about this. 94% of Gen Z and 87% of millennials want businesses to address social and environmental issues, right? So if you're maybe 40 and up, you're of a different generation. But all these millennials that everybody talk about, we don't like millennials. Listen, I'm a millennial. I love being a millennial because I'm not for the system. I am not here. If the system is going to crumble, I'm going to help it crumble. I want a new world. And there's so many people that are like me. Gen Z makes up 40% of the consumer market and has access to $44 billion. And they have significant influence over their family's budget. So if they want something, they can say, Mom, buy me this, buy me this, buy me this. So when I say 44 billion, I mean 44 billion and growing. That's a lot of money that you can tap into. And there's a quote, as millennials and Gen Z make up a larger and larger portion of consumers around the globe, companies will increasingly need to be prepared to take on a position on social debates and back it up with action. So the days when you can just ignore what was going on. So if you saw during the George Floyd incident, a lot of companies were forced to take a stand because their customers wanted to know, where do you stand on this? Where do you stand on Black Lives Matter? Oh, you with Trump? I ain't rocking with you. Oh, you with Black Lives Matters? I'm rocking with you, or I'm not. People want to know where they're spending their money because my money is my money and I don't have to spend it with no one. I can keep it in my little bank. I can fast. I don't have to eat at your restaurant. I don't have to spend any of my money. And so that's how the consumer market is. And so in order to encourage people to spend money with you, they need to know who you are. And when things are going on and you don't take a stand, you're going to miss out because the person that says, I stand with you, I'm with your political stance, I'm with your social stance, that's going to be the person that they go with. That's going to be the company they go with. And that's also in the conversation of when you select a niche, right? When you select your niche, where do you stand as far as political or social issues, right? And yeah, if you a Black man and you don't stand with other Black men, I'm gonna look at you crazy. I ain't spending my money with him. I ain't spending my money with him. And everybody's like that. White people are like that. Indian people are like that. We are as a global economy, we want to spend our money with people that we feel like they're gonna bring it back at least, or they're gonna make us proud. They're gonna make our community proud, right? So good news. There's paths to positive conscious entrepreneurship, right? So one thing that you can do is that you can add value to local NGOs as a vendor or a supplier, right? So what I did with Young Boss Media, excuse me, is that I would go to what we call them nonprofits or social organizations here. I would go to them and say, listen, you're going to need a media presence. You're going to need somebody to do your social media. You're going to need somebody to come to your events and record. You're going to need photography. You're going to need somebody to redo your website. I've been on this side. I know what it's like to be a community organizer. I know what it's like to be out in these streets, talking to people, passing out pamphlets. I want you to hire me before you go hire some white boy that has no clue what's going on in your community. And that's how I would get my contracts, right? Because I'm here doing good, but I'm also a reflection of not just you as the CEO, you as the executive director, but I'm a reflection of your membership. So now imagine if I'm showing up at an event with the camera out, people feel way more comfortable with me and my crew than if they got some people from the hills or whatever that have no attachment to the community, right? And so here I am, I'm doing good because I'm providing a service for the local community. and I am receiving monetary gains for my work, and I'm able to pay my team. I'm able to pay my rent. I'm able to pay my bills. So that's a way, is by adding value to local community organizations that have budgets. And a way to, and here's a strategy, like a way to get into that. Go ahead.
Hello, Doc. So this also means that indeed Goodwill, community services pays very well in the environment where you find yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, but how do we bring this to Africa? How do we bring this to our environment? You know, Ghana, for instance, when you say you are doing community service, nobody expects you to, ask for a reward or something. So, like the kind of goodwill you do there, where you are giving something, or at least you are rewarded for it. How do we bring it here in Africa or Ghana?
Well, everybody's background is different. Everybody's situation is different. But I think, honestly, you have to know what you're willing to do for free and be very clear about it. And then you have to be clear on what I need money for.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
You have to be very clear on, I can volunteer once a month. I can help you out once a month, and be very clear on it. But anything else, I need money, and this is my fee.
That's interesting.
So it goes back to I have no problem asking for money. I have no problem going into somebody's office and saying, this is my proposal, and at the bottom is how much I charge, like it or not.
But is it normal? Is it normal to be doing that when you say you are doing a philanthropic work?
So I didn't call it philanthropic. You did. Okay. Remember that. I didn't call it philanthropic. I'm saying I'm here doing conscious business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Hi, viewers. Startup Dialogue. The Startup Dialogue is an initiative by the Enterprise Bureau to provide data and intelligence to the startup ecosystem in Africa to enable stakeholders to make informed business decisions. And tonight we are having Dr. Grant. Dr. Grant has been in community service for more than decades. She has all the experience. So we are looking at any or getting profit from some community or goodwill services. When you are doing this community service and you have the side hustle or side business you are doing, doesn't it conflict with each other?
Explain a little more. What do you mean?
So what I mean it conflicts is you are doing the other one, which you think it's community service, or it's a reward for the community, or a CSR, let me put it that way, corporate social responsibility. And then you are doing this other one, which you are expecting some reward or funding for it. At which point, or at what point do you determine that this particular one should be for free and this particular one should be for a payment or a reward?
So my business is my business. All of my businesses give back, all of them. All of the businesses that pay my bills, that bring money into my family, that bring money into my empire, they all are social enterprises. So I don't divide my energy. I don't have time for that. I'm very focused on how I give my energy. This right here is a community service, right? I didn't ask you to pay for me, but I could have. I could have said, listen, I am a professional speaker. This is my fee. Right? But the bigger picture is I'm getting to know this brother. And at the end of the day, like, me and you can actually do more together if I don't worry about, you paying my fee or my honorarium, because after this call, we can get on the call and be like, you know what? I like working with you. What you got going on in Ghana? Well, I got to get this going on in New York. How can we work together and create a business out of it? So when I give away my services for free, it's really a strategy because I actually want to work with you. Right. All of my interviews I gave away for free because at the end of the day, I intended to work with that person that I was interviewing. And so I have great relationships internationally because I just sat around interviewing people. Right. But there is a business model out of this where we could charge for these interviews. I'm giving you my platform. I'm giving you my time, which is way more important than the platform. I don't care if nobody watched this interview. It's my time and I can't get my time back. So you have to pay for my time because I could be, you see, I got people at the door. I got my phone ringing. I could literally be somewhere else. So the time that we give each other is so valuable. Like, if you don't learn nothing else, respect your time. If I get up and I go to your event, if I get up and I do something for you, you owe me something. If nothing more than smile, say thank you, right? There's always an exchange going on. There's always an exchange going on. And so you have to know yourself enough to know what is that exchange. For me, I just want to get to know you. I want to know what it's like to work with you. So if something comes up where it's like, listen, I got something going on. I wonder if he's down with it. Let me hit him up on WhatsApp to see what's up. For me, it's better to give away this interview and then let me work with this brother in the long term. And that's what I do, right? That's what I do. And so you just have to know, like, what is your win? And so that's a part of conscious business ethics is what is your win? When you walk into a room, you need to know what you want to walk out of it with. Yes, you want the contract, but if you don't get the contract, what's another win? Maybe the next win is let me get the numbers of everybody in here and network with them. Maybe these people are a part of groups and clubs that I can be a part of. Sometimes those intangible wins are more important than the money, because one thing about when money comes in, people think they own you. People think that they can control you when money's on the table, right? So sometimes those intangible wins, those introductions to other people, those introductions to groups and networks are so much more valuable than the check. But you have to know that, and you have to be mature to know that. And so one thing about just entrepreneurs like starting out is they're not mature enough to see the long game. I'm here to play the long game, the long game, you know? And so just to answer your point, what was your point? People can do this anywhere. People can build relationships anywhere. And the fact that we're in a virtual space and we can get on Zoom and StreamYard, that's you know, it's quite impossible to not be able to network if you truly want to. Okay, I would like to continue my, are you there? You there? Okay.
Yes, I'm here. It says in 2012, you helped launch the Fight for $15 campaign in Brooklyn, New York to organize fast food workers, which eventually led to the national minimum wage being raised to $15 in 2019 with the Raise the Wage Act. I'm just curious about this. How are you able to achieve this?
Oh, so I was working. So this is when I had a job. So I have a life before entrepreneurship. This is when I had a job and I was organized. I had just moved to New York.
Am I clear?
You are clear. I heard you.
You want me to go by it again?
You were asking about the Fight for 15 campaign. So the Fight for 15 campaign was started by New York Communities for Change in Brooklyn, New York, on 240 Nevin Street. I had just moved to New York. I was a mid-20-something, ambitious, ready to fight for the good fight. And I had been running a few campaigns with them prior to that. And I remember hearing whispers about there's some campaign with fast food workers. And I was excited to be a part of it because some of my friend organizers had been a part of it. So shout out to Tati, shout out to Lisa, shout out to Sherry, and shout out to Ron. These 5 people started this global campaign. Look just like me and you out of Brooklyn, right? And so this campaign, we were going into restaurants, getting people to sign petitions, getting their data, and then we would call them, and then we would ask about their issues. What concerns do you have? And from there, from month to month, we were able to have these workers go on strike. And by going on strike, they were able to push these restaurants to a space of, you have to treat us better. You have to treat your workers, your employees better. Because I mean, there's people with degrees working at McDonald's, working at Kentucky Fried Chicken, you're making less than, like, making poverty wages. They're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, making poverty wages. And I'm not a person that I don't care if you clean toilet bowls, you deserve respect. Work is work. You deserve respect. And so what we were able to do is to mobilize New York City fast food workers, Chicago fast food workers, and it spread across the country. And then from there, you had just young Black and brown kids out in the streets really fighting for more wages and better wages. And so it wasn't me that necessarily started the campaign, but I was a leader in it. I was the first lead organizer on this campaign. And actually, it's interesting now because Starbucks, I was organizing, I tried to organize Starbucks back in 2012, and Starbucks was not having it. They did not. They thought that they was bougie. We don't need it. We're not McDonald's. We make such and such. So now, almost 10, 11 years later, Starbucks is now organizing to form a union. Because here in America, like, there's such thing as a middle class. And so there's the rich, there's the poor, and there's the middle class. And so when you're working 40, 50 hours a week, you're giving your employer everything. I'm not about to be in poverty if I'm giving you my life. And so in America, that's how we believe. And so I was a part of that campaign, but there were there was thousands of organizers that really brought that to life. So shout out to everybody that played a role in the Fight for 15 campaign. And then that led to Black Lives Matters. That led to all the different movements that came about during this time. And so I'm really happy and proud to see how, young people like my generation have mobilized. And so that's why when I tell you, young people, we are not spending our money with people that we feel like are our oppressor. If you want to oppress me, you want to take money out of my community, I will not spend money with you, And so that's what this is a reflection of. And you're going to see more entrepreneurs that reflect that type of mentality, that we want to do good and we don't want to reflect the old world of bad capitalism.
So let me ask you, I mean, you've been the president of the Rotary Club and all that. Like, how they? Can you hear me? Do I have to repeat myself?
Please.
So I'm asking that you have been the president of the Rotary Club. I mean, tell us how difficult or easy it is working with such a club. I mean, such a global brand that everyone knows about your achievement and the kind of work you do as Rotary.
I think it's harder to try to organize a family meeting than organize, people around the world. I'm not impressed by people's money. I'm not impressed by people's titles. If you treat me good, I treat you good. If you treat me bad, I might stab you. Like, I'm as real as they get, like. So it doesn't, like, people's titles don't impress me. Where you're from? I've been to Dubai. I don't care. I don't care about none of that. It's harder to organize a family dinner with all the crazy folks in my family than it is to really dig deep with people that have shown that they're successful, have shown that they can handle a leadership position. They've shown that they can take on extra work, right? So in the organizing world, when you're looking for a leader, right? Because for me, it's not for me to be the leader. I don't ever need to be the leader. I'm dynamic. People like me just for me. I don't ever need to be the leader. I don't need to be in the pictures. I don't care about that. My goal is to develop leaders. And so when you're looking for a person to develop, the easiest way to find another leader is somebody that's already busy. They're already doing a lot of work. They're already active in other things. And so with the Rotary Club, I'm dealing with very successful people all around the world. So they're already busy and they're saying, hey, Monica, hey, Dr. Monica, I can take on more work. Please give me something. And so I give them something. Here you go. You want this position? You want to do this? We need help over here. And so that's actually easy. The hardest thing you ever do is try to activate people that are they have low self-esteem. They don't believe they can be successful. They don't believe they can do anything. That's the hard part. And it's also very rewarding, but that's the long game. That's a long process. I mean, I've seen people take 10 years to start to change and see those wheels in their mind, change. Running organizations with other successful people is pretty easy. I think the challenge of it is you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let them down. And so part of that is ego, because nobody wants to be humiliated. Nobody wants to be embarrassed, right? And so when I feel that, I'm putting my hand on my chest. When I feel that, my ego, kind of crutching onto my heart, I don't want to let them down. I want to make them proud. It forces me to go to them and say, hey, this is a challenge that I'm experiencing. How do you advise me to handle this? And then I go to my team, I go to my people, and I say, listen, I don't want to carry this load alone. Like, I'm big on that. I don't believe in doing stuff alone. I don't believe in, and that's something I look for in people. If there's a person that they feel like they have to do this over here, and then they'll show me later, I don't want to deal with that, because I'm a very transparent person. I didn't get to where I am in life by, holding my hand, and I'll give you this. Like, nah, that's whack. And I don't want to deal with whack people. And so in this world where there's an abundance, there's a true abundance, Earth just keeps producing, the universe keeps producing. As our minds continue to get bigger, and we can read more, our minds will expand, the universe will expand. There's not a shortage of good people to do business with. The idea that there's only corrupt politicians, there's only corrupt, selfish business people, that's not true. That's not true at all. And so I recruit people that are like myself, that I want to hang out with, that people that I want my niece to look up to, that I can introduce, my family to. So so running these organizations aren't actually difficult, but there are challenges. And when I do find myself in a challenge, I come to them and I'm very honest about what I'm going through and what they advise me to do. And I take the advice, because then it's a team effort versus Dr. Monica said we was going to do this, or this was Dr. Monica's decision. Like, no. We all came together and said this was the best route. And it feels better as a leader. It does feel better that way. And things tend to work out better when you just, give it to the team and allow them to chew on it. So yeah. It's much harder to organize, family members than Rotary. Got my green juice.
Yes, I'm back here. Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm back here. Can you hear me? Hello, Doc. Hello, Doc. Can you hear me?
I can.
Very good. So I'm about asking you, how do you get new people to join your social entrepreneurship work, as in getting people recruited into the business you do?
Very good. That's a good question. So I really don't know, but I can just kind of give you a philosophy. I do believe that I make people feel good. I think that's a part of it. I think that people feel safe around me. I think that people feel comfortable with me. And part of my just spirit, my energy, is that I don't have an expectation for people to be perfect. I actually do not like perfection. Like the fact that the doorbell ring and the phone going off, I'm getting the juice during this whole interview is a part of like just my energy. I'm not here for perfection. And so I allow people to be imperfect.
Okay.
You know, like I allow that. I embrace that because that shows you who the true person is. When somebody is, I gotta have my makeup right, and I gotta have my hair right, and I gotta do this and this, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. Anybody that is presenting themselves as a perfect person is lying. And so I'm not going to deal with that person until they show me their true self. So
You think there's no perfection?
no. Like Mother Earth is perfect. Mother Earth is the
Okay.
only perfect thing that we will ever experience. Our parents
Okay.
aren't perfect. Our spouses aren't perfect. Nothing is perfect. No.
Okay. All right. I see. So I just want to find out another thing too from you. I mean, doing this work and traveling all around the globe and all that, what has been the experience? What is that thing that you see? This thing has really attracted me, and I want to stay in this job.
So it's not a job, right? I was born to do this. This is my spiritual journey. This is what my spirit calls me to do. But you can believe I could be in corporate somewhere, like that entire world. Ugh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's not real to me. My spirit craves realness, and so it even means if I'm going into the slums, that's real to me. If I'm going into nature, that's real to me. I need realness. And so as I travel the world, I don't go to touristy spots. Don't ever take me to the tourist spot. Take me to the hood. Take me to this hole in the wall restaurant where only the locals go. I want real. I want authentic. And so I think that's just what I'm in search for. If I'm searching, right? But that's the kind of organizations I build, because here's the thing: if you only build with the people that have the degrees and the people from the rich, wealthy families and the people that have these titles, you're only dealing with a very small population. See, I'm the type, I'll go into the trenches. I do Jesus's work. I'm gonna find my disciples from people that didn't know they have their gifts, but I'm looking at them, I'm saying, listen, you are a leader. You just need some support. So my pool is much bigger than everybody else's. You know, I'm able to tap into people that just needed encouragement, people that just needed some guidance, that just needed some nourishment. You know, I'm able to pull from that. And so I love traveling because most of us are just alike. I don't care if you wear a turban, a scarf, if you got a weave, you got them bundles, you got the long nails, you got the goatee. Most of us are alike. Like, we're more alike than not. We want love. We want to be respected. We want to feel like we belong. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want nobody picking at us. We don't want to be humiliated. We want to feel safe. We want to feel secure. That is the human experience. And sometimes when we don't feel safe or secure, we make other people feel unsafe. You know, hurt people hurt people. And so one thing that I've recognized as I travel is that we are all the same. White folks, black folks. When it gets down to the core of it, we are all the same. And that's why I push to have media, because global media does nothing but tear us apart. You know, naturally, if we were just left alone without corporate media, we would gravitate to each other. But media divides us, right? And so as I travel, that's what I see. I see just confirmation that we are one. We are one. When I see you, I see myself. I see my brother. I see my past life. I see my next life. I don't see someone else, someone distant, you know? And so that's what I love just about of just traveling. But these leadership positions are suggested, you know. Oh, Monica, I think you'd be great for this. It's not me chasing any of this. You know, I'm good. If nobody calls me during the day, I'm fine. I can read a book. I got books to read. I got so many books that I need to be reading. And so it's something that has been given to me because I don't mind giving. And so when you're a giver, you receive. Oprah Winfrey says it's like she doesn't pay for anything, you know, particularly like clothing and all that, because she gives so much. And she has a platform, right? She's an ambassador for so much that people just give her stuff. And so when you're a giver, people give to you. And if you have a media platform and you're giving, people will then give you their media platform. If you have gifts, people will then give you other gifts because you're a giver. So that's how it works. That's how it works. But I know you're having some network issues. Are you there? Are you there?
That's right. That's right. So you can continue.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to go back to the positive path for conscious
to
entrepreneurs.
the presentation.
I want people to be clear on ways that you can become a social entrepreneur. One is by adding value to your NGO as a vendor or supplier, as we talked about it. Second, you can create a sustainable business from scratch. And so what we mean by sustainable business is, one, as the entrepreneur, you're thinking about how your business benefits the community or the world 7 generations ahead. And so one way could be you recognize that in your community, you have a water issue and you need to have clean water. So if you create a business that cleans the water, you will be very profitable in the immediate. But then how do we make sure that this business is going to have a positive impact in 7 generations? Maybe that means not using plastic bottles for your bottling company, right? It could be something as small as that. It does, understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't go into business, but I'm saying think about the longer picture. We know that countries that have, bottles and plastic issues, plastic in their seas, and now they're having to create companies, social enterprises to clean up these oceans so that the fish can breathe, so that you can have clean drinking water, right? So what we're saying is, one, think about the future. How will this plastic impact my community and communities elsewhere? Because like in America, we throw our trash away and then they take it somewhere else and they put it in the landfill and we never see it, but there are countries and cities that have to deal with that trash, right? And so how will this plastic, so can we use wood? Can we use bamboo? Can we use glass? Can we use these big bottles? I have these big bottles that I have like a dispensary for, right? How do we protect our planet that way? And then another way to think about it is, so from the money that I make, taking water, and I'm gonna give you another example, taking water from this community, shouldn't I give back to this community? If I'm taking a product from this community, shouldn't I give back to this community? And so I'll give you an example. I have a big problem with the hip hop industry. I love hip hop music. I love everything our people create. I love dancing. I love singing. I love it. Right, that's natural to us. But the hip hop industry has used Black people, melanated people, as the biggest export of art. Hip hop industry is one of the biggest industries of all time. But if I go to the South Bronx right now, where hip hop started, Cedric Avenue, where it started on August 11th, 1976, something like that. Don't get me wrong with the dates. But it started not too far away from me. Across the river, I'm in Harlem, across the river in the Bronx, where it started, that community is still poor. So you mean to tell me where we got artists, international multi-million-dollar artists, Jay-Z billion-dollar artists, Kanye billion-dollar artists, their communities are still poor? That is a problem for me. There's no hip hop university. There's no hip hop scholarship. So when young kids from their communities want to go to college, they want to study STEAM, the hip hop industry is not giving back to the communities. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's like thinking ahead. Get your money. There's so much money out here. There's an abundance of money. I went to this event with Steven Schwartzman. I got a free ticket to go see Steven Schwartzman. And one thing he said, and he's the CEO of BlackRock, he said, there is no shortage of money. And immediately I went and read all of his books. I need to know what this man knows. There is no shortage of money. And truly, that's a mind state. Money is created out of thin air. It's just energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. So what do? Like we just play with it. We're playing with it. We play with money. We play with ideas all the time. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. But once you get into a mindset of I'm going to create a business, think about the entire the entire world that this business exists in. And so when hip hop artists are taken from their community in Chicago or New York or Atlanta, and then they're being flown out to Beverly Hills, those communities are still struggling. But the art came from these communities. So shouldn't these communities benefit? So that's what I'm saying about like conscious business, be in business, but have a conscious approach to it. Right. And then the third way is, so say if you already have a business that's already established, you don't need to start anything from the ground up. What you can do is you can incorporate conscious business practices into your already established business. Right. And so there's ways to do it. So say if you already have a company, certain things that you can do is sit down with all your employees, once a month or once a quarter, and have a heart-to-heart conversation. What the research shows is that if you can connect with your employees, you can reduce employee turnover. And employee turnover is extremely expensive to have to replace somebody, that has a certain level of knowledge, right? Because when they walk away with that knowledge, you now have to retrain somebody. That employee is better off, when they leave than when they came in. So now they're walking away with your knowledge. So now you have to spend all this time retraining somebody and figuring out if you can trust this person or not. When truthfully, all you had to do was sit down with this employee and say, hey, tell me what's going on. And they might say, you know what? I just need to be able to leave earlier so I can pick my kids up from school. Wouldn't you rather understanding what your employee needs versus allowing them to say, my boss don't listen to me, my boss don't respect me, I'm just go find another job? So imagine all the money that you would save by having happy employees. Happy employees that, one, don't want to leave, but then happy employees that want to give to your company. They want to invest in your company. They want to support your company, right? So not only are you not losing money, but you're now gaining an intangible, unlimited potential in the employees that you already have, because every human being is connected to source energy. And so, like I said in the beginning, when two or more gather, God is in the midst. So when you have two or more gathered for a higher purpose, which is your company, you now tap into unlimited potential. This is a conscious business. This is how you move forward. So when you ask about side hustles, everything I do is a social enterprise. I am always here to help humanity, but I'm also always here to build my empire at the same time, because it's not either or. It's always together. It's always together, right? And so there are ways that you can improve your business to make sure that it is more profitable and you're not having so many leaks. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't know how to deal with people. They want to be number one. They want to be the only face. They want to be the only leader. They want to be the CEO, and they don't know how to lead people. They don't know how to humble themselves and say, hey, I need your help over here. What do you think about this? What do you need? Some people just need, like, say, if you work in an office setting, some people just need better equipment. Some people just need, a better swivel chair. I got back problems, is there more comfortable furniture? Sometimes it's just very small. And so something that you can do is sitting down and speaking with your employees, with your staff. How are they doing? And how can you help them? How can you help to improve their experience in your company? Same thing with suppliers, same thing with your vendors. Talk to them. If you have a good relationship with your suppliers, and vendors, they'll give you better rates. So now if you're getting better rates, you're now more competitive. You're more competitive than everybody else out there if they're paying more and you're paying less. And all you did was build a relationship. So what I'm saying here is, like, this is very basic stuff. Building relationships. It don't cost you nothing to call somebody. WhatsApp is free. You just need some Wi-Fi, right? You need data, so you got to pay for that. But building relationships will take you much further than any degree. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't ask people what degrees they got, what resume. I don't really care. I don't really care what you have on your LinkedIn. I care about how much you want to give, and spiritually, how much you want to serve, and then what you're interested in. What are you passionate about? Passion and the spirit to give, because community service doesn't happen, oh, I want to feed the homeless. Community service happens within the company. I want to start a birthday club so that we can celebrate everybody's birthday. That's community service. That's community service. Like, I have a whole bunch of books that I'm about to send out to my cousins and my nieces and nephews, all the younger ones in my family. That's community service. I don't need to go work with an NGO to do that. I'm going to give because my kids need to be reading. The kids in my family need to be reading books. So it's just about giving where you feel like you have a place to give and a space to give. And it doesn't cost a thing. It doesn't cost a thing to tell somebody happy birthday, to call them up, see how they're doing, to check on somebody. And those relationships will give you better deals for your business if you're strategic about it. And it might feel like you're just doing it as a gimmick at first. Okay, so what? Over time, it'll get easier. Because at this point, nobody wants to deal with a butthole. Nobody wants to deal with somebody that does not care about them, that is greedy, that is untrustworthy. Nobody wants to deal with that. And so if you feel like you're dealing with that in your locality, just keep looking and keep your heads up. And hey, come work with me. Come work with me. I deal with nice people all the time. Come work with me.
Up soon. But may I find out from you, how do you deal with difficult people that come your way in this this business?
So it's a strategy, right? And that's a good question. A lot of times, so it depends on how they come. It depends on how they come at me. Because people do come for me. People do come. I'm a Black woman. I'm a woman. So people think that I don't know nothing because I'm a woman. Baby, everybody came from a woman. I know who I am. You came from a woman. I came from a woman. Everybody came from a woman. So if somebody knows what's going on, it's a woman, right? And then we're intuitive. So a lot of times men should pay attention to this. You have to develop your intuitive nature. Because a woman can walk into a room, or at least I can walk into a room and not say anything, and I can already feel the energy. I know who not to trust. I know who's going to act up, and I know who the person I'm going to rock with. Without saying anything, I can feel energy. I can feel it, and so then I'm just waiting to see how people respond. So as the meeting will start, or whatever capacity we're in, right, you can just kind of see how people behave. And so when that person that something ain't right about this person, you just allow them to act how they're going to act. And this is my face usually when they're acting. Okay.
So do you give them that room to operate, or you dictate for them? Do you give them that room to operate, or you decide, you make the decisions and they have to obey?
Well, I give people room to hang themselves. I'll give you the rope and I'll let you hang themselves, because here's the thing, also in the international space, right? I am very aware that people would love to say that Black woman from America did this. Like, I know that, like, we know that, right? And so what I do is I allow people to show their true colors and then be like, all right, y'all see this, right? What do you think I should do? Okay, let's do it. Because people are going to show their true colors, and truthfully, they're going to show them quickly. So it won't take long for somebody to show you that they don't like you. It's not going to take long for somebody to show that they don't trust you, or that they think they're better than you.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long. So all you have to do is just kind of wait for it. I had a conversation with somebody last night, and they were going through their whole, I did this and I did that, and I think they wanted to say, I'm better than you. And I said, great. I would love for you to do that for our organization. Let me know when you're ready. Like, I'm not attached to, like, I don't think I'm all that. I know I'm a queen in my home. I know I better be respected like that in my home, but in the world, I'm just one person, right? So if you feel like you could do something better than me, do it, baby. I want you to do it. I want you to shine in that area. But most people, when they do that, when they want to beat their chest, they're just beating their chest. They actually don't want to do any work. I'm a person of work. I work, and everybody around me works. So if you just want to beat your chest, feel good, then go ahead. Where you at? I'm giving you a lot. I'm giving you a lot today.
Okay. I understand you on that point. We should be wrapping up, like I said, in the next 2 minutes. But just tell us how we should approach this issue of community service in the current environment, especially in this economy. Absolutely. And that will be my final question.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to have this discussion. This whole idea of conscious business is a relatively new topic. And so that's why I wanted to study it so much, because I don't believe that you have to have either or. I don't believe that life is zero sum. Oh my God, what was your question? Oh, how do people approach community service? So I think that, so one, everything starts with knowledge of self. Know thyself. You know, it goes back to
I'm
ancient
asking how we
Egypt.
should approach this community service.
How to approach community service. So first, knowledge of self, being aware of who you are and what you want to give. Um, and that's very telling. Like, my partner loves to give back for woman empowerment, right? Some people want to give back to kids and to youth. You have to know yourself on what area is extremely important to you, and also why, right? Why is this area important to you, and why is this area not important to you, or less? And then I think, as entrepreneurs, because like this show is about startups, it's about talking to entrepreneurs. As an entrepreneur, within that space that you are passionate about, if it is women, right? If it's about women empowerment, and you are passionate about women empowerment, where in that space do women want to spend their money, but also where do they need help and support? And I mean, it could be as simple as, let's check it, bundles. You got these long hair, right, that you buying from overseas, paying an arm and a leg. You could be a social entrepreneur by just helping women get their hair products cheaper and more natural. How many of us use, like, I don't use them, but how many women use products with poison in them, with toxins in them? You know, how many of our sisters are putting toxins on their body? You know, that is a business model right there, by just creating natural products for women like me. You can send them to me, but also it's at a lower cost. So now we're helping our sisters, but then we're also making money because we're cutting the margins. People come into our communities, Black communities, no matter where you are. I know you see it in Ghana, because I've been to Ghana. I've been all over Africa. In America. So many non-Black people come into our communities and they make money off of us. So really, if we want to do a community service, is kick out other people. Kick out other people, and then let's do for us. That's like first community service. Let's do for us what we've been giving our money to other people. First thing, right? And then, because when we do that, if I give you my money, I know that you're going to bring it back to the community. If I give it to somebody else, it's going to go to their community, and it might not ever come back to me. Community service number one is keeping your dollar in your community, period. And looking at what businesses already exist that you can attempt to either remodel or improve upon. And so being aware of who you are and what you want to give, and where's your area of service, looking at the business models that exist for that market, right? So when we talk about like the awareness of who you want to serve, that's a market. And so where this market spending their money, and then analyze, is this the best, the best way? If they're spending their money on water or this or that, is there a better model? Is there a better model that's more sustainable? And so do that research. I think a lot of entrepreneurs do not like to do research. And that's something I didn't like to when I first started. I've been an entrepreneur since I was a teenager, because I had a good idea and I wanted to do this. I wanted to express myself. But now I spend way more time on R&D. Doing the research of who my buyer is and what they want, doing the marketing research. Do the research on your market, do the research on your niche. What do they want? What's their price point? What are their spending habits? What are their pain points? What are their pain points? And so if you help somebody alleviate a pain, you are doing a community service. And it doesn't have to look like I'm feeding the homeless, I want people to get out of the idea that only going into the orphanage is community service. My mother has a back problem. If you help her back, that's a community service. Because if you help one, you can help the entire group of population that deals with that pain point. You feel me? So like, think bigger. Community service is wherever you're helping somebody alleviate a pain, and then charge for it. Nobody's asking you to do anything for free. I have not asked you not one time to do anything for free. You can, particularly in a networking situation, right? But you don't have to. This business exists. Human beings understand that business costs. If I'm going to do something for you, business costs. And charge a fee that, is reasonable. That's reasonable for your clientele, but it's also competitive, and so that you're not losing money. And so all of that really comes in doing the research. Everything I've just said right now is about research. Research yourself, starting off, and then research who you want to help. And then from there, there's so many different models. Like, so Young Boss Media, I started that because I knew that I would be a better activist if I use media versus knocking on doors and going to everybody. I traveled across this country talking to people about their unions, about their community issues. And I knew that if I had a media company, I could just send them a video, right? And so that's how that business model started. And it became profitable because other people understood I can just use media versus hiring all these people. Right? There's a more effectiveness in using media, and I don't have to pay, the employer doesn't have to pay health benefits. They don't have to pay whatever. They don't have to hire a whole bunch of people if Monica could just make a video for me. You feel me? So it's doing the research. And like I said, I can do this in my sleep because I'm passionate about it. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, don't do it. Like, switch it up. Don't do it. Be where you're passionate about, and then find out where within that passion are people making money. And then that will kind of tell you where you need to be. But yeah, I'm not asking you to do anything for free. Make your money, and then give it back. Because how are we going to build hospitals? Like, we keep depending on other people to build our hospitals, to build our clinics. We're waiting on other people in Ghana. Stop sending people to America to send money back. You can build right there in Ghana. And I've seen it. You can build right there. And wherever else people are watching from, Nigeria, you can build right there in Nigeria. You can build in Kenya. You can build in South of Africa. You don't have to come somewhere else. You can do it right where you're at. You just got to believe and have the mentality, because you got all them people around you. You can mobilize people. Just like in Ghana, y'all know how to mobilize people around religion. In my household, business is my religion because it's a spiritual thing. It's spirit. God gives me. God downloads in me ideas. God downloads ideas into my partner. And we come together with our people and each other to create God's work. So my religion is absolutely 1000% business. There is no side hustle. This is me all day, every day. And so come from within. Find out who you are, where you want to serve, figure out the business model, and then proceed. And don't be scared. Like, that's the next thing. Just don't be scared. Walk on water like Jesus. Don't be scared.
Yes. So there's one question in the box, and it's like, how does a company benefit from doing Goodwill or community service? If you're a company and you won't be doing community service or Goodwill, how do you benefit from that? And that will be my last question.
Absolutely. So going back to, if a company does community service starts from within. So if you're doing community service for your employees are less likely to walk out on you. When the employee walks out on you, you are losing money, right? So that's the first thing. You are losing money when an employee walks out. So we're going to lower employee turnover. So if we lower employee turnover, your bottom line is going to increase. Boom.
Okay.
Now, if we're doing community service outside of the organization, we're going into, like we have every month, we go into a community and we have a food pantry. We're giving out food, or giving out sanitary napkins to women. Now, your company's legacy, your brand is now in that community. So say, depending on what your brand is, right? But like, say if you have something where people can actually buy, right? They're more likely to come to your store because they know your name, they know your face. That's Mr. Allen. I love Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen came to my community 3 months ago and gave me this t-shirt. I love Mr. Allen. So now you have brand loyalty within the community. And something about Black folks, our people, when we have brand loyalty, we don't shop with nobody else. We don't go anywhere else, And so some people spend time putting money into like commercials, into social media advertisements. The best way to brand yourself into a community is to actually be there, because if somebody's mother loves a product,
that's fine.
The kid's gonna love the product, the grandma gonna love the product, and she's gonna continue to buy it over and over and over and over and over again. And so by keeping your employees happy, you're reducing your turnover costs and you're increasing your profit margin, but then also you're increasing your profit, but then also by having brands, properly branded yourself in that community, you have more people walking through that door, more people that want to work with you, more
All right.
suppliers that want to work with you, more vendors that want to work with you. So it's an
That's
all
interesting.
around opportunity to lower your costs and increase your profits.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. We thank you so much. Viewers, this is the Startup Dialogue by the Enterprise Bureau. I mean, the Startup Dialogue is a platform provided for small and medium-sized startups firms to understand changes in the global economy, and as well providing data on global business operations. Tonight, we've been privileged enough to have Dr. Grant giving us so much insight into community service. Doc, I would like to say a very big thank you to you for giving us all this time. It's more than an hour. We would like to have this once again on another time, because this has been a great and insightful conversation. We are very grateful to you, viewers, as well, for standing by, watching us, and listening to us from all walks of life and all that. We hope that it's been very insightful to you as well. We'll come your way another time when we get Doc. But for now, stay tuned on the Business and Enterprise Bureau Startup Dialogue. Have a good night. Goodbye, Doc, and goodbye to everyone. Bye-bye.